Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to
is.
inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us, and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us, and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us, and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can just go over there and just follow us, and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Oh, okay, I
Alright,
will.
let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So
Oh.
logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something
Yes,
just
it
to
is.
inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week,
Okay.
starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Mm-hmm.
We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can just go over there and just follow us, and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Oh, okay, I
Alright, let
will.
me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So
Oh.
logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something
Yes,
just
it
to
is.
inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week,
Okay.
starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Mm-hmm.
We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can just go over there and just follow us, and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Oh, okay, I
Alright, let
will.
me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent?
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us and you can always see the live events that are going to be happening.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist. Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us and you can always see the live events that are going to be happening.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist. Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us and you can always see the live events that are going to be happening.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist. Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright the trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us and you can always see the live events that are going to be happening.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, could you have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist you. Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright the trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us and you can always see the live events that are going to be happening.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, could you have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist you. Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright the trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us and you can always see the live events that are going to be happening.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, could you have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist you. Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright the trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist you.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you can just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist you.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you can just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist you.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, no patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us, and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist you.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright the trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, no patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us, and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist you.
Okay.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright the trademark for your patent?
Yes.
Alright, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, no patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us, and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, alright?
Okay, I will.
Alright, let me just see your documents, please. Alright, you just have a seat over there and I'll get someone to assist you.
Okay.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, Dr. Kerr, we're hearing you.
Okay, all right, great, great. So sorry about that.
That's the way the new technology works.
Yeah, no, good morning again. I think in trying to get on this morning, I think I may have done twice. So my apologies. Again, my pleasure to share with JIPO in the celebration of IP Week. And as I said before, let me just offer my congratulations to JIPO and all involved in planning and the execution of IP Week. I did participate in a few of the events, certainly on Friday I did, and they were very engaging. So the UA Mona, and especially the Mona Library, is pleased to be a part of this IP Week. Just to let you know that IP has always been central to UWI. So in 2019, when we were with JIPO and UA, the UA Mona, well, we were trying to finalize the plans to execute this Technology Innovation Support Center, the TISC at Mona. There was a thrust coming from, at the time, PVC Gift, who was in charge of research across the university, not just Mona. There was a thrust at entrepreneurial activity, IP, and he actually reached out to the library and asked us to develop an IP help desk to support intellectual property at the UWI. And so in March, we started working with, assiduously with JIPO. So by October of 2019, we launched both the Technology Innovation Support Center and our IP Help Desk. And we are very, very pleased. A year has passed, more than a year has passed. This was our launch with JIPO, as you can see. And we had a very, very interesting, just to talk about some of the overview and what the TISC does. Most of you would be aware that through the TISCs, innovators in developing countries can access locally based and international high quality technology information and related services to help them exploit their potential and to create, protect, and manage your intellectual property. And so we are really situated in a very core area for IP activity within the country. Just to say that this TISC is the first in the Caribbean. And we are so pleased that JIPO really did push us because they recognized that there was a need for persons to have access to this kind of information, which under normal circumstances, persons would not know of. TISCs generally are supported by WIPO. They offer training and support for staff. And we at UA Mona really have benefited from much of WIPO training and support. So the objective of our TISC is really to enable ease of access to education, to information, to training, and advisory services in intellectual property. And I did talk about the collaborations with WIPO because WIPO supports development of Mona staff so that they can actually give the service that is that people will need in relation to IP. And I have to talk about the JIPO support and the collaboration. JIPO has really stood with us because we have this IP desk, which is really for the community and our librarians. Not all our librarians are equipped with IP competencies. So what JIPO has done, and last year in particular, we had a number of training sessions for library staff and general outreach to the community. So they came in, and you'll see later when I just show you some of the things that JIPO has been doing with us and a number of outreach activities. So the TISC and the as I said, the IP help desk are situated to help in IP related matters. Some of the services that we offer, you can see there, definitely intellectual property rights, literacy about it so people can understand about their rights, and registration. So we are supporting JIPO in this matter. General information on intellectual property, basic and advanced patent and design searches, because the TISC actually provides access to all of the WIPO databases and the international databases on intellectual property. And as you can see, trademarks and geographical indications. So when you actually do your search and you believe that you have come up with this great patent, there is assistance in ensuring that your registration, all of that is done in the acceptable way. And the TISC is there to support. Some of the achievements that we have done, we have to date, as I said, WIPO has trained 15 of our library staff in a number of courses: patent drafting, intellectual property, advanced property management. We've had a number of our staff members in the library and outside of the library to the UE community who have registered for WIPO courses. And as I mentioned last year, JIPO did 3 in-house sessions, training sessions, just for library staff. We had 34 participants, and I think more than half of them completed this JIPO certification. They did it, but they would have had to do that assessment exam. And we are now in the process of formalizing JIPO UE MOU. We are looking forward to that, because that is really the official kind of legal framework that says all of what is happening here will continue to happen in this very formal environment. Some of the other initiatives that we have had from the TISC in the last year, and as I said, we're just a little over a year old. We had a number of outreach activities because we reached out to departments on the campus and also some of our students. You can see some of the postgrad students, we actually had a seminar for them on copyright matters. World Quality Day, which came out of the UWI, JIPO actually came in and spoke about the intellectual property. And last year, during the COVID period, we offered 2 webinars. One was the TISC anniversary webinar, where we were part of the overall, where we're celebrating our first year. And in June of last year, we collaborated with JIPO on a webinar on copyright and academia in the COVID era. So we have really been doing quite a few things. Just to wrap up, just to say, and I think this ties in with what Mr. Wongsam said earlier, that the TISC is there to support innovators. Anyone with an idea, whether on the campus, whether in our greater Mona community, but outside within Jamaica, the TISC is there for entrepreneurs, inventors, scientists, anyone with an innovative idea. Before COVID, we were doing face-to-face sessions. 2 Thursdays per month, we were offering that people could actually come into the Mona Library. Right now, we're taking, if persons definitely want to have a conversation or help or access to our databases, we're doing this via our website. You can send in an email And the details are really on our website, as you can see there. So I think that's generally the overview that I just wanted to share about what is happening with the TISC. I think more questions might come up when we have the question and answer session later. So thank you so much. And again, sorry about earlier. Okay.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Kerr. I applaud the work that you're doing at UE with the TISC Center. I think it's very important because I myself don't necessarily have the time to sit with the client every time and walk them through the process. And so your work is very helpful to me. So I appreciate and I applaud the effort. It really has been a great benefit to me. And I thank you for everything that you do. I would like to open the floor. Would you like to take the questions now, or would you want to wait till later to take the questions, Dr. Kerr?
Sure, we can take the questions now. I mean.
Okay.
Literally opening up their databases or their resources via a TISC, it becomes less expensive and less onerous on persons who really sometimes don't even really know how to navigate these databases. This is what we are here for. We are here to assist them navigating all of what is out there on patents, and we're working closely, as I said, with the MORI, which is a department on the campus that deals particularly with patents and research on the campus. And there are other departments that really actually help with allowing persons to navigate. So I don't, right now, I saw a question in the chat asking if we charge for these services. Right now, we are not charging for these services. So I think we JIPO, because of course we take our directives, a lot of what we do from JIPO. So we will see eventually that to support some of what we're doing, there might be very minimal charges. I see that Miss Bellamy is online, so she can probably speak to that. But right now we don't. We do not have any charges for these services because JIPO is supporting us so much.
That's right. So we will continue to help you to minimize the costs. So whatever we can do in. Sorry, Miss Bellamy.
No, I was just saying that the whole thinking behind the Technology Innovation Support Centers is to have it available so that people can access the information, which is so critical, without having to pay for it. Mm-hmm. So basically, that is the thinking behind the Technology Innovation Support Centers, which is why, as you mentioned in your presentation, the Intellectual Property Office and the World Intellectual Property Organization makes themselves and ourselves available to provide the training, also to offer the distance learning courses to members of the institution without charge. So the concept behind the Technology Innovation Support Center is to make it available to people who are registered at the university, but also to the wider community to promote the whole innovation and to recognize innovators who may not be a part of the community directly, but just like how the university has outreach in the community with a very active film program with a community that is right next door to the university, the Technology Innovation Support Centers are seeking to achieve that in the area of innovation and inventiveness. So in terms of charging persons, I don't think that that was the thinking behind this, and which is why we at JIPO and WIPO provide support to the institution.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bellamy, for the clarification. Thank you, Dr. Kerr. It has been a pleasure speaking with you, and I invite you to come back anytime because I think your presentation was very insightful. There was a question in the chat asking if you can provide information on how to get in contact with the TISC. I think we can put up that information for you. You say you had a link. I saw a link in your presentation. So
yes, we will. We're going to put it in the chat. I'm going to put it in the chat or
okay.
On the website and the
Okay, that would be brilliant. So that
yes, we'll put
participants
that in the chat.
can
yes, sure.
So
yes,
I'm sure there are a lot of eager people out there. Thank you very much, Dr. Kerr.
You're welcome.
So next we have Professor Daniel Coore, who is a professor of computer science in the Department of Computing at the UWI. He has been, over the years, a key contributor to a co-inventor for the UE cardiac simulator, which was an invention that was utilized to help in the training of cardiac surgeons. So it was a very important invention. Dr. Coore has a fascinating story, and he's told it to me a couple of times, but I never get tired of hearing it. It's really fascinating, and I thank you for coming, Dr. Kerr. I know you've been busy today.
He's muted.
Mr. Wongsam, you're muted.
Sorry about that, Dr. Coore. Yes, so I invite you to the floor now, Dr. Coore, Professor Coore.
Thank you. I am to see these. You were muted. That was an effort. Can someone see my screen?
Yes, so we're seeing your screen.
Okay. This morning, thanks for the invitation.
You're coming in and out though, Prof. Coore, you're coming in and out. I don't know if it's from my end.
Well, anything different? This morning, of development and utilization of the cardiac simulator, and that the this to give some into the which is something that for Jamaica that very of value.
You're breaking up,
finding
Prof. Coore, you're breaking up.
to intellectual.
Prof, do you happen to have
Yes?
a headset? Because we're not hearing you. Your sound is intermittent. Perhaps if you put on a headset.
Hold on a sec.
Thank you.
On wearing a headset. I can audio set. Just might need. Try this. Better? Is that any better?
Not really. It's still intermittent, Prof.
Not really sure. This is the same has to teach on just that line up on maybe. Is it right now?
Prof, it's not clear.
It's still in and out.
Hearing me? Okay, allow me to change, please. Any better?
Yes, I can hear you.
Clearly now?
All right. If you try speaking, maybe we can.
Let me with and see if that's.
You're tripping in and out.
Still?
Yeah, it's I don't know what is happening. Your service provider isn't
bandwidth.
Is it bandwidth? That's what it sounds like bandwidth.
It could be if you're using a mic, if the mic is intermittent, yeah. Like the headphone, maybe. I don't know if you're using a headphone. It sounds.
Yeah, but I headset has and it is.
So maybe you should just.
This is.
What is happening? It's unusual.
It's a very strange problem.
Okay. So Prof. Coore, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a few minutes and we're going to invite another speaker and then you can try and see what the problem is. So I'm going to invite.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Do that, but experience my end, Miss. I don't know when I know what I'm fixing.
You know, this is highly unusual. Your voice is going up and down, and it's very modular. I don't know why. I don't know if it's bandwidth.
The video going in?
No, the video is fine.
Okay. All right. I'm going to reconnect using a Byarugaba email. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Prof. Coore. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to invite Professor George Byarugaba Bazirake to the meeting. Professor Byarugaba has a wealth of experience, right? He currently is on the editorial board of the International Journal of Food Science, Nutrition, and Dietetics, right? From 2016 till 2018. He's a member of the Ugandan National Planning Authority, right? In intellectual property, he's been a member of the Intellectual Property Management Committee at NARO since 2017 to today. So he has a wealth of experience in his region, in his part of the region. And he has come here today to give us a preview from his perspective of what the intellectual property is like from Uganda. So I think we could learn something from all of these members that we have. And I think what has happened is that we have, even though there's a great distance between us, we have very much similarities together. So I think what we will do is we'll invite Professor Byarugaba to the stage, and I hope I didn't butch that up too much. And we'll invite him to share, and then we'll see where we can go from there. Professor George, are you there? Yes, I see you.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you fine, Professor.
Okay, very good. Good evening for Uganda and good morning in Jamaica.
Good morning, good evening to you, sir. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure and happy Patents Day today.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
So we'll be controlling your presentation for you.
Yes, please.
Okay. Anytime you're ready, Professor.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. As the topic goes, science, technology, and innovation in agro-industry, and I think the entrepreneurial spirit for MSMEs, the case of Frevasema Limited in Uganda, I'm sorry, the word is limited in Uganda. That Frevasema refers to fresh, vacuum sealed matoke. Matoke is in the dictionary, refers to bananas, the cooking type of bananas. We call them the East African highland cooking bananas. That's what we call the project. Core project is fresh vacuum sealed matoke Frevasema. Presented today, and in brief, my biography is there. I've been a Dean Faculty of Science, Chambogo University. from 2012 to 2016. In the other roles you have had, I sit in different government bodies. I chair the Uganda National Council for Science and Technology, a board that oversees an agency that oversees science and technology. I'm glad to inform you that I've been named African role model in modernizing African food systems, awarded by International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, Stellenbosch University, where I did my PhD, University of Pretoria, also South Africa, Michigan State University in USA, and Makerere University in Kampala, Uganda. Having said that, I have slide number 2. Slide 2. Next. Hello? Hello? Are we together? Hello? Next slide.
Yes, we're changing.
Yes. The highlights of the presentation are outlined as the introduction, what is FLEVASEMA and why is it here, methods we used in science and technology for innovations, the products and certifications, business with MSMEs and SMEs, and definitely what are the outputs and outcomes of this project, and acknowledging the support from all development partners. Next. Yes, and the brief introduction is that we are all aware that knowledge and technology transfer, KTT, is a vital for innovation and value addition to products and services. Aware of that the current trends worldwide are focusing on science, technology, and innovation for development. Aware that Africa in general and Uganda in particular are endowed with natural resources for research and innovations. So we should never be left as raw material donors, but rather innovators. Vital to note that creation of jobs in agro-industry and increasing labor productivity in agro-industrial value chain is key, and identification of investment opportunities for increasing export value of selected agricultural commodities to enhance agricultural sector growth rate is key in Uganda, probably also in Jamaica and other countries. Next. Science and technology innovations are key drivers of economic development, we are all aware, and particularly agro-industry. Endowed countries such as Uganda in particular and Africa in general are agro-based areas which should maximize the crop and livestock value chains to enhance agribusiness for poverty alleviation. And most of these are SMEs and MSMEs in the current trends of economies, technopreneurship, where we are talking of technology and entrepreneurship intertwined, can mingle well for the technological and entrepreneurial skills with more motivational spirit. The SMEs and MSMEs, because goods and services in the businesses are developed by the technopreneurs, agripreneurs in the teamwork and marketed with the best information that the end users require. This presentation, therefore, will focus on FLEVASEMA Limited, a case I have said that acted as an anchor unit to other banana value chain SME to flourish in a consortium setup. What we had to do was set up a consortium, a better way of diversifying products along with the banana value chain. And here we had a number of products and services offered to the communities. The company was registered as a company limited by guarantee. I want people to note this, not for profit, but rather with knowledge and technology transfer as a spirit, not to aim at profits, but aiming at knowledge and technology transfer to others. It is not made for profits, This is very, very important. And I think all institutions, all sites, I would encourage people to open companies limited by guarantee. Why? Because these attract development partners who don't share dividends at the end of a financial year. But if you start with a company limited by shares, the development partners will demand a lot of accountability, will demand a lot of how is the money used, because it's more of a selfish company. But this is a company made for the people, by the people, to benefit the people. Next. The case of Flavorsema was an anchor unit, as I said. Fresh vacuum sealed matoke Flavorsema started as a research project in 2008 under presidential support scientist. Researched for 3 years and graduated in 2011. Mark that. I acknowledge and note the support of President Museveni of the Republic of Uganda. He's very supportive of science and technology. The initial fund was provided by him under presidential support scientists. And I've been in 30 African countries where I have presented this. All the others are saying, wow, we wish our governments were supportive, like the government of Uganda. He looks at scientists and has given a special salary to the scientists as long as you can display what you can do for communities. The goal was to research in the project for development through Uganda National Council for Science and Technology, a government agency that was mandated by Parliament. Mark that. Therefore, the fresh vacuum sealed matoke became a patented bio-innovated product of the cooking bananas, East African triploid, Acuminata triploid genotype. And this brought a big change to start as an anchor project. The project was awarded a patent in 2009 under the Patent Statute of Republic of Uganda. And in WIPO is African Regional Intellectual Property Office in Harare. As a result, the patent then managed to acquire US Food and Drug Administration in 2010. And since then has exported over 150 metric tons of solid ones combined of the patented product to the communities. Are we together? Hello?
Frame up something
Hello?
that we can send so that I could just go through.
Hello?
That's what I'm saying.
Are we hearing each other?
I might ask you
Hello?
to address.
The product patented can stay. Hello? Hello?
Go ahead, Professor.
I'm okay.
Okay, please continue.
You are hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you fine.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much. This meant that the whole innovation, what is new, was about processing, the technology of processing a product, fresh vacuum sealed matoke, is a fresh banana, which goes and is cooked in a puree, even after 6 months in deep frozen conditions, and has all the organoleptic properties that are required. I'm about to finish the slides and go to pictorial, which will move fast. Hold on. It is with special acknowledgement, therefore, to WIPO and TISC in particular, that Flavorsema used the same approach referred in the slides, next slide 48 and 49. You'll see how we acknowledge how I was trained through TISC and WIPO, which is actually a technology of transfer, technology transfer where there is creation, protection, and exploitation, which ends in commercialization, in this case of a product, United States and Australia. Next. Next slide, please. Are we together? Next slide. Something is going. The patent awarded certificate had a legal aspect of enabling the enterprise to expand and put a product on a market without with that monopoly. And currently, the product is being consumed in 12 states of the United States, and it is received from the Port of Baltimore, Maryland, under a limited company called Genesis. The little information is that a patent may comprise, I think that one I don't need to go to it. Dr. Kerr had explained how a patent is initiated. You all know. The last bullet is that the patented method of processing an extended shelf life of the cooking bananas is being commercialized as industrial product, licensed on a non-exclusive basis. You all know the difference between exclusive and non-exclusive. Therefore, the royalty percentage is usually realized on the total sales. With Flavasema patent, the product is exported to United States and Australia, as I had said. And the benefits mostly benefit the farmers, the transporters, air freights, in this case, Emirates and Qatar Airways, the consortium members who are in the consortium, the students and interns, the general economy of Uganda with the foreign currency that is being earned. The above patent, therefore, has promoted other innovations and has become a catalyst as an anchor project in SMEs in the banana value chain. The researchers consortium. Next. Yes, the problem statement why we had to go for this is that Uganda was ranking #1 in the cooking type of bananas, but products in the world, it was ranked and second after India. But in terms of economy, it was taking 70th position. Therefore, there was a need for value addition, which was lacking. And value chain development to bring a diversified products. The farmers at peak season would have to lose their products. The farmers would harvest and get frustrated with their products, lacking market and fetching low farm gate prices. Now, due to the perishability of the bananas, some of the significant percentage, about 25%, get wasted by ripening. And while others, big part of this were spoiled in post-harvest handling. Therefore, processing techniques such as organizing the farmers in groups trained and how to handle post-harvest was key. And we found that there was 40% that was regarded as waste. As I'm going to summarize in the pictures, this was not supposed to be waste. Therefore, the problem of garbage accumulation in the urban areas, which consume a lot of Baraka Matoke, was minimized by this system. That's when the president found me in exhibition, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and admired the project. And by then, we started, we realized that there was a lot of loss of government of Uganda in removing garbage from city and so on. And they wanted to use this method where 40% would remain in the rural areas. Next. Thank you. I'm about to finish the slide, I think. The main objective of the research project was to solve societal problems as a community outreach activity by value addition to Matoke in the banana value chain approach so that the banana agribusiness can significantly contribute to the national economy in sustainable development goals, SDGs. The specific objectives were easy transportation, to modernize the production facilities, to utilize what was regarded as waste into other products, to link farmers to wider market like we are going in diaspora, and to effectively and efficiently market the Matoke in both local and international markets. Next, please. Yes, the technical information, since it is a patent now, I can release information in public domain, was that there was an innovative idea born, like any other scientist in my mind, initially. Then I had to search for a patent by filing. I had to develop a summary synopsis of the technology used. Next. Yes, the scientific information here was appropriate food preservation method using the food grade preservative, which is sodium metabisulfite, and appropriate packaging of vacuum sealing. Then there was stable shelf life, determination of the product, the nutrient retention, and palatability of the product. Those were key. Next. Yes, as a good business incubator consortium, I may leave this one for you to. We had partners. The main partner was Afribanana Products Limited. This had 6 units, and Flavorsema is one of them. So this is a company limited also by guarantee, as I said. And the Chambogo University, where I've been a dean, was the anchor lead university. Then other universities like FALA, Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, PANAC, Asaleka, ANAFE, and CODESA and others were partners in this. We won a fund under PP private-public partnership. We won $2 million through competition at African Union. And this was a big takeoff for the project. Next. In the interest of time, innovation impact created is that we have commercialized innovations and technologies, 18 of them. The number of MSMEs that have been supported are 24 of them. The number of youth-led incubators supported 62 of them. The direct jobs, 750 jobs since 2012. The indirect jobs are that 24-22. The number of farmers reached 3,980. The number of students and interns trained stand at 680. That's the impact in society. Next. Flavorsema output products and services include now branded Novero products of wines made from banana juice and hibiscus juice. I have even, sorry, I could show you examples if you need in a question time. Enriched baked products made from banana, wheat, cassava flour, and where we use what UN calls the flying food. Edible insects called grasshoppers in Uganda would meal and get flour and make wonderful cookies and cakes. We had enriched animal feeds for piggery and poultry, biogas, in a bioreactor, vinegar from banana waste, export product, mainly the Flavorsema product, the fresh vacuum sealed matoke exported. And of course, the product, the service we render is training of interns and processors in the SMEs. Next. Next slide, please. Yes, so the outcomes, I would consider the outcomes and outputs include value-added products, as we have said, export products, knowledge and technology transfer to the processors. We have even been hired as consultants by UNIDO and trained 9 facilities of SMEs in Uganda. And we have earned a lot of monies in our local currency, as you can see. Not going to the fund since you have the paper. The outcomes of the project are also created jobs, as you saw, better farm gate prices to the farmers, better market linkages. Our local farmers would not have diaspora market. We have chilled trucks which take to the airport where they benefit. They would not afford the chilled trucks because they are very expensive. The Flavorsema project between 2008 and 2011 was under presidential support scientist. This is the company that managed to graduate after winning $2 million US. And we used this 25% to create our own assets, as you see in the pictures. Then Flavorsema has so far exported 150 metric tons, and approximately 16 tons have been sold locally. Why little locally? Because of unreliability of power in our country and the perishable product. Next, we tend to sell less at home. Next. Next, please. Yeah, I think this is the other products and services outcome of Flavorsema banana value chain, bags, banana juice, and wine, and so on. Now, publications, I not go through them. Innovations. They are there for you to innovations. I had next, please. Afribanana, I said, was the incubator banana value chain, which had 6 small units, SMEs, and was the benefits from the innovation society. Sorry for that distorted word. Include the now $2.4 million US, which have been won internationally coming into the country. Flavorsema, that much, biodegradable bags replacing polythene bags. The banana juice and wine, which are on market. The biogas to reduce the charcoal is on the market. The banana textiles and the ornamentals, these are on the market. Charcoal briquettes as a fuel alternative are on the market. Vinegar is not on the market because it's expensive to produce. We produce it on research. Enriched animal feeds are on the market. Edible insects have been tried in cookies. They are yet to go on market. Tissue culture bananas seedlings, which are disease-free, are on market. Ornamental items like frames, braids, beads, and so on are on market. Thank you very much. Next. Yeah, Flavorsema training is also an issue, an area of interest. All those are now, again, the products I had talked about. Continue. Continue. I think we should be going to pictures quickly. They talk more words than, yes, this is the home where we started from. We are expanding. Next slide, our offices and processing plants. These are the products. The building that looks without a window is the wine cellar, where a vehicle enters at the other end and comes up at the other side of the door. And those are the main 2 types of wines we make. Next. Be quick in this. Those are the facilities we use, the commercial trucks that go to the communities and take products to the airport. Next. This truck was bought under government of Uganda support, President. It's written on presidential support scientists. It was a costly facility, but it is chilled and carries products at -4 degrees centigrade. Next. This truck was bought as part of the fund we won. This takes the products to the airport and African Unibrain. We purchased that to help farmers. Next. Be quick. That's now a commercial van that we use to reach short distances, taking products to end users, wines, and so on. Next. The next slides general are pictorial. They show challenges of science, technology, innovation. They show management, business model applied. They show value chain, partners, training, certificates awarded, export supply chain used, and public domain awareness of the with VIPs that have interacted with us. Kindly go through the pictures quickly in interest of time. In interest of time, we can run through pictures. Yes, This is how we teach farmers to manage the bananas. And now you see the challenges of harvesting and transporting. Young man suffering. Now this is a truck. These are trucks carrying bananas. They ripen along the way. You can see a ramushako, a dangerous mechanical condition. And now this is the banana ripe, the cooking type. Next. Now here we are peeling the bananas before they are packaged for export. We have vacuum sealing and they appear like sausages. Next. Yes, you can see the machine vacuum sealing, the banana fingers peeled. Next. Yes, that's how they appear in a crate. And in US, each kilogram is over $10 US. Next. Yes, that's the barrack that we put inside the chilled truck, and at the airport we put in the boxes. Next. This is the rudimentary method that was being used to make juice from banana, to the extent of stepping in the banana with feet. Yes, that's the rudimentary method. But next, the next method, I'm demonstrating how we make vary. We use this and use enzymatic to get juice. That middle picture of orange, the juice is extracted using enzymatic approach. And out of one banana, which costs less than $10, you get, in juice, you get over $20. And when you sell wine, you get over $200 from one bunch of bananas. Next. Yeah, this is the juice now, modern, made by our students. Next, as opposed to the other rudimental. These are students who have trained at the university. Now they have made their enterprises. They can make juice. Wonderful. Tourism was one of our incubatees and is now making money across the city. Yes, we make the cookies I was telling you about from cassava, wheat, and banana flour, as well as milled grasshoppers or edible insects. Those are the cookies. Then you use the waste to make enriched livestock feeds. The banana peels, the cassava, and the other formulated ingredients make very rich nutrients for SMEs. Next. Yes. The figure on my right, on my left, and on my right, I don't know, on your side, is banana waste. Next. Next. Yes, this is our staff making wine and in the winery, labeling and packaging. Next. Here we teach, we train processors. These were various samples of processors where we were contracted by UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, to train different processors. And we were testing parameters of quality wine, how to present a wine, so that they can get certification of Uganda National Bureau of Standards. Next. Yes. Different exhibitions we display, and this wine is made from inferior banana fingers, which we are going to waste to ripen and get wonderful wine. Next. This is the management. For every success of an organization, it needs such a management organizational structure. The details are there, not to go through it. It has to have overall overseer board, and then the horizontal chain of command and vertical chain of command. Next. Next, please. Yes. The wiping slide. Thanks to UNIDO, rather to WIPO. Thanks. It is demonstrating that research for and development, where I had to first go to the laboratory, I created and got a patent. Then the patent had to go in that technology transfer approach, it became licensed and then had to go for commercialization, exploitation. If you click again, you'll see the technology transfer down there, thanks to WIPO, which trained us in this kind of approach. By the time I was trained, I found this approach. I had already demonstrated how it was, but I could not put it in the perspective that WIPO has managed to put it for us. Next, there is something that at the bottom of there, click again. Yes, creation, protection, and exploitation. Courtesy of that is technology transfer trend. Courtesy of WIPO from Geneva, a lady called Hamano, Japanese, Yamiko Hamano, in 2010, trained us under that. Next. That's the WIPO University Initiative, which all of you should be conversant with, and that's what we use at my university. Next. Yes, this is our Prevasema Afribanana product value chain business model. This model has been adopted by the World Bank from Washington, D.C., where we are partnering universities, research organizations, financial institutions, and private sector. In the middle here, we are hinged on this, and you can see different objectives, different SMEs, farmer groups, graduates, and our objectives are clear. Get time to look at it. I may not go in details around it, but this has been our flag bearer. I was interviewed from Washington, D.C. by World Bank, and I have an acknowledgement from World Bank, Washington, D.C., acknowledging our business model for other companies and projects. Next. Yeah, training SMEs and startups. We had to use publications. We had to use certifications. That is U.S. Food and Drug Administration certification, which is on our website. I don't know whether I put the website down. I can send the website. And then we have published books on intellectual property, the treasures of intellectual property. The treasures of intellectual property is the book we have, one of the books we have published, and it's available for public domain. Next. Yes, here we are showing UNIDO trainees benefit from Prevasema. As I said, you have trained at 9 facilities. This is even during COVID. We are training not more than 30 people, and some of them are having face masks. Next. Yes, you can see a number of them have become good MSMEs, and they have got bottling lines like this one is already on market with about 3-4 patent certifications, not patents, certifications, and the product is across the country and on export in the neighboring region. Next, you'll see, yes, that again, this is support. Our country is very grateful for UNIDO. UNIDO has supported 9 facilities in making wine and bought them wonderful vessels, stainless steel. And Prevasema was hired to train the processors how to make quality products. Next. Yes, these are some of our trainees who had completed the course, and you can see in the background we are training attentively, and at the end of the day, they are being awarded the certificates after training as processors, owners of SMEs. Next. Yes, we got public domains through exhibitions. Next. Yes, the same exhibitions. The Chubetis wine now. This is made by our trainees who are startups, and they have also decided to go to market after getting the requirements. Next. Yeah, we had different exhibitions, even international visitors came and tasted our banana wine. Some of them have made comments that they can no longer look at bananas the same way they used to look at bananas. These were international visitors from Netherlands and USA. Next. Yes, these are the two main brands of wine. The red label is Novero by hibiscus and banana juice. The white golden top is purely banana juice. I took the research in South Africa at Stellenbosch University, and this wine now is selling better than imported wines across Kampala, my main city. Next. Yeah, this is part of the inside of the wine cellar where we make our wines. The tank, stainless steel tanks, horizontal and vertical. Next. Next slide, please. We are finding the animal feed is formulated, enriched animal feed is formulated for farmers, especially poultry and piggery. Next. I thought pictures, if we, assessment of quality of wine that was taking place. This was a training and packaging, during training. Next. And this Uganda National Bureau of Standards Certification, UNBS, I don't have to go to details. It has been acquired and we show people how to acquire that in order to put their products on market. Next. This is certificate of grant of patent awarded to me as a patent holder through Uganda Registration Services Bureau and ARIPO, African Regional Intellectual Property Office. And thanks to TISC in Uganda, it has trained people in this regard, like it is in Jamaica today. Next. Yes, this is the Uganda Export Promotion Board. I'm sorry, didn't come out. We are registered among the Uganda Export Promotion Board for visibility on international market for the other forever summer product to US and Australia. Next. Yes, that is the certification, the US FDA, that enables us to export. Next. These are the products inside the chilled truck and the way we package. Next. They are going into boxes. These are the boxes they are exported in, styrofoam boxes, to go to United States and Australia. Next. We contribute on global food warehouses. As I said, we serve in 12 states of US. Next. Yes, where the distributors of Africa, Caribbean, Latino, and Asian foods are sold. I was there with the Minister of Trade and Industry, and we visited all warehouses. Next. Yes, other innovated products include those I had briefly talked about them. The vinegar biodegradable. Let's continue. Ornamental items. I think that slide is a repetition. It had come next. Next, the vinegar. This is organic vinegar, other than from hydrocarbon derivatives. The animal feeds. Next, continue fresh quickly in the interest of time. The biogas I had told you. Yeah. With that blue non-luminous frame from banana waste, having no smoke and head. Next. Yeah, these are ornamental lampshades, biodegradable bags made from banana fiber. Next. Yeah, ornamentals, earrings, table mats, all these are innovatively made from banana in the banana value chain. Next. And they say, yes, wonderful bags. We mix ladies' bags, files, rugs for entrance on the door. All of these are made from banana fiber mixed with cotton. And we are looking at this as a vibrant industry in the near future. Next. Next, please. Yes, that shows the commercialized value chain from the tissue culture, banana seedling, disease-free seedlings. You see the banana fingers looking like nice like sausages, the fresh vacuum seeded bananas, a variety of juices for the incubatees who have trained over 20 people making different wines from banana. SMEs, they are on market. Biodegradable bags. Here, Rwanda, our neighboring country, is customizing these bags in their plane. Ornamentals, wall clocks, lampshades are made from banana fiber. Wonderful product, textile and crafts. Then the charcoal briquettes, non-smoke fire. You can see it. All that is what we do at Afribanana. Next, I think that's the value chain. You can look at it in your time. Next, the value chain showing how they differ in prices. You can look originating from a banana. Take time to look at that. Next, the trainees having come to our facility. These are IT, industrial training students from universities who come to train in the value chain. Next. Yes, the same, another group of student interns or the our proposition is to share knowledge. Next, knowledge and technology. These are again another group of our trainees, Katas of UNIDO. Next is the SMEs. We have trained them in juice, banana chips. We have trained them in banana juice, banana chips, banana wine, different organizations. And thanks to UNIDO, wonderful facility. Next, now these are our partners. ABP's Afribanana Products Limited. We had a variety of partners, and African Union teams appreciate our role and invited us after our launch by African Union. Director Fala were invited for a week in Addis Ababa at the headquarters of African Union, share our experience and services. Next, the head of state, President Museveni here, was sharing with me what we do, and the Vice Chancellor and the Ministers of Science of Education. On the other hand, we are receiving trophies as winners at International Exhibition 2013 from the Vice President, who were #1 and were awarded trophies. Next, that is a glance at the value chain in a banana tree. And I think I wish to thank you for your attention. I'm sorry if I've gone beyond time with many slides. Thank you very much for listening to me. Yes, the acknowledgement is on record. Jamaica IP office for organizing this week and inviting me on Patents Day. The presidential support to scientists. Thanks, President Museveni, for supporting scientists. And universities, business, research, and agriculture innovation for IP assets such support. The government of Uganda general, we thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Byarugaba Bazirake. Thank you for that very detailed presentation. And now I'm going to invite Professor Coore to see if we can do his presentation.
Jason, are you? No?
I'm hearing you. Yes, Professor.
Am I still or not?
It seems that way, but speak anyway. Let's
Change the setting. Oh, is it there?
It sounds good now. It sounds good.
There's been some kind of noise cancellation. All right. Let's hope find this time. I'm seeing my screen.
Yeah, we're seeing your screen.
Okay. Good morning, evening, wherever you are. In addition to just talking about simulator, I'm not that story much depth, that much time, but the process of commercialize perhaps the more pertinent of this. But for unaware is very the kind is the surgeon flight simulator is for who was a surgeon with you hospital at the time of UAE, and Craven, who was at the time. And really it consists of pig's heart placed in a match, very much like on the right, and it flows around it to make it realistic, balloon into the heart, especially prepared heart, that enable air into the lungs to make beat. So a pneumatic and to control, of course.
Professor Coore,
then.
Excuse me, Professor Coore. I don't know what is happening, but you seem to have the same issue again. Is it possible for you to join from your phone?
Well, it was difficult in the first place because it would take the software, which I did on the lap. The join by the phone, able to get shows.
I don't know.
Hold on a second.
Colin. We're going to ask you to call in on your phone and keep your computer open because we're seeing your presentation perfectly. We're just not hearing you very clear.
Right, is my open on me?
Your mic is open and it's working, but you just seem to be in and out.
Is it deleting the volume?
It's going up and then it completely chips out and then it comes back and then it goes out again. Some sort of rhythmic fashion.
Hang on a second. I won't know. Is it any different?
We're still. I've never encountered this before, but it's still doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing for either. I'm the speak a little bit. You can hear. Is in fact going the case.
Yeah, I can hear you a little, and then you just fade out, and then you come back, and then you fade out again.
Hi, good morning, how are you?
Dr. Patricia Yap, who is a dermatologist who had an honorary degree in applied science and her medical degree from the University of the West Indies. She has advanced studies in dermatology from the University of London, and she came back to Jamaica in 1993, where she has been assisting people privately to assist them with skin disorders. She's the Chief Executive Officer at the Apex Healthcare Associates, and she is an inventor as well as a trademark holder for her products, Ari, which she has developed with her sister, Felicia Campbell. So it's a fascinating combination of family and industry. Dr. Yap, please share your story with the audience. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Okay, can everybody hear me now?
Yes, we're hearing you.
You can, okay. All right, so, well, thank you for inviting me, and a happy patent 10th day and week as well. And I want to also thank Jason, who helped me in going through the process of patenting Trademark. So what I would like to share with you today is I asked him, what's the topic? What would he like me to talk about? So he said, from innovation to exploitation. So the question is, are you going to exploit the product you innovate, or are other people going to exploit you? So innovation. Oh, so you have a better mousetrap. You say to yourself, oh my God, I have this innovation. I got to share with people. So who are the people that you're going to share it with first? And the people that you will share first is always your friends and family. So for those that don't know me as a doctor, I'm a skin doctor, dermatologist. And also I am an innovator in that when I came back to Jamaica, I realized that a lot of products on the market that didn't really have us in mind. So these are products that make overseas for their market, which are mainly Caucasian people. And of course, we are not. So now I have to create things that actually works for my people in Jamaica and the diaspora. So that's how I came up with products. So the people that I'm using it first is friends, family, and my patients. So they have a technical term for this. They call that beta testing. So after you beta test it, and now people want to purchase it from you. So the first thing first I want to talk about is market. If you have a product in mind and you think there are people that's interested, you first have to think about your market size. So who are you selling it to? What segment of the market? When I talk about segment market, meaning that is it going to be the top 20%, the middle, well, there's not much middle in Jamaica, but the middle, maybe 10 to 20%, and then everybody else. So this is called market segment. So you have a product and you have to figure out who you're going to sell it to. And the people that you're selling it to, you have to think. So if it's going to be a jam or a jerk sauce, you have to think, if you have a bottle of 4 ounces of jerk sauce, how often are they going to cook to use up that 4 ounces? Because this would tell you how often you're going to have to make your batch and how much sales you're going to get. And for instance, with us now, if my first product, which is actually a soap, Arisulfa bar. So you want to know how often they're going to have to buy the next bar so that you can make a guesstimate how much you're going to manufacture. So now that you have the size and the market that you think you're going to sell to, you might be in love with your product. And your friends and family are going to be in love with your product as well, because they want you to succeed so badly. So the first buying is what I call friends and family buying. They like you, they love you, they want you to succeed. But if they don't come back to buy a second time, well, I'm sorry, you don't have a product. So you need to bear that in mind, because you have to have enough people buying your product, enough times in a month that can sell each batch of your product. So repeat buyers, very important. Then you have to make a guesstimate of, how often you're going to have to make this product. Is it on a weekly basis, monthly basis? Okay, so this comes to the next thing that we have to think about. Who are you selling it to? you're going to hear people saying, maybe you should sell it to the world. Let's start with your market locally first. And these are your friends and family and the people that they know. And diaspora, people live overseas who are culturally similar to us. So they understand our product and why we want to use our product to achieve what it's supposed to do, whether it's jerk sauce or skincare product. But of course, you may have some stuff that you want to make that's for the tourists, which would be a total different segment of the market because you don't have to have repeat buyers. So if you don't have to have repeat buyers, then you have to concentrate more of visual and feel that concoct of Jamaica. So, that would be things like the smell of Jamaica or the feel of Jamaica when they use the product. So that could be a perfume, a soap that will allow them to think of Jamaica whenever they use it. So products like that. I'm not familiar with that because all my products is for a purpose. So we spoke about the market and that you have passed beta testing. So now you have so you know your market, you know the segment of your market, who you want to sell it to. So therefore, the pricing that you're targeting, because you want to be able to target at a price where people can repeatedly buy it. So it's in their is in their basket of goods whenever they go out shopping. That's what you want. So you have that now. So what do you do next? Money. You need capital because to make each batch of the product requires money. So how do you go about getting this money to start even this first batch of product? First, it's usually from your saving because it's your idea. To see your ideas through, you have to have skin in the game. What are you willing to give up to see this idea come to fruition? So you look at your saving and say, okay, I could do one batch. Sell off. And they even come back to ask you for more. Great. So you have idea. But I'm going to need more money because I now have to make a bigger batch to sell and bring back the money to make a even bigger batch. So now you have to estimate because, you have the first batch, you make 10, the next batch. So 10, if you say your markup is 30% or 100%, make it easier, 100%. So if you sell it for $5, you make $10. You make another $5, so it's $10. So the first batch of 10, it's $50, and you now have $100. But this $100 is going to make your second batch, which would take $100 to make two batch. So you leave you with no money. And that's why when they tell you have to have the capital not only invest in making the product, but you have to make sure that you have enough left over to pay you for 6 months or a year to see whether, if you're going to, as Jamaicans said, boss. So these are the simple things you have to remember. Capital. So that's the time now you're going to get somebody to help you to write a business plan. So the business plan will go like, when this product goes on market, I'm expected to sell X in week 1, in 1 month, in 2 months, 3 months, going up to a year. And what kind of money would you need to put in it to make these batches? And the timeline it takes for you to collect the money so that you can pay yourself and pay your employee. So these are the things that you need to think about to ensure that you have money to pay yourself for 6 months to a year. And for those of you who still have a job, I would say, don't give up your day job just yet. So that you at least don't have to take a salary from the business because it takes time for a business to grow. Just to give you some idea, if you look at my business plan at the beginning and where I wanted to be in 5 years. Right now, my business in 10 years is not where I like to be yet. That was in my business plan that said it should be within 5 years. So you must have room for flexibilities so that you don't feel disappointed emotionally, because it can be very draining when it's not coming through the way you want. So, and the capital has to include packaging, because what you can sell to your family, your friend, in a simple product, you will have people advise so that now you need to package it better, because you have to now display it with all the other products or similar product or product that can be a substitute to yours. So it has to stand out. Well, we were advised that to occupy the more space on the shelf, we should use our product in the same color, so that from afar, we occupy a lot of space on the shelf, so it seems like we're selling a lot. I said no. And I said it out of personal experience. I don't know if you all have done it. You ever wash your hair with shampoo? And when you pick it up, because the bottle looks so similar, you wash your hair with a conditioner instead. So I said, no, I want it in colors, because even our Jamaican money is in color. Because our people, culturally speaking, we think in colors. And that has served me well, because whenever patients come to buy for their relatives abroad, they normally mention the color. They would say, the blue box, the one in the purple box, man. Yeah, man, at that one, we want, at that one, she say. All are in different colors, so they remember. So that's the first hurdle. That was really fun, doing all that. But remember, our dollar is always moving. So packaging can be a very expensive part of what you're trying to sell to people. Because what you really want working for you is the content. What's in the bottle? So when I realized that it would be nice to have packaging so people can see it is on the shelf. And it also serves its purpose as well, because you can have a lot of information on it, so you don't have to have a separate pamphlet. So you have the space enough for you to tell them all the information without additional leaflet, because everything costs, by the way, you know. So you want to make it cost effective so that what you're selling can be as economical as possible, so that it can pass the benefit to the patient, to the consumers. So we now have products we're trying to make that comes with our box. Less trees going to be cut. And that's the aim. And so far, so good. That's what we're trying to stick to with our newer products. And that's something that you all need to consider. Less packaging. Even labeling, by the way, because each product has to be labeled. So as long as it can contain your information, you don't have to have, you know, the smaller, I mean, adequate, once the label is adequate, remember, the smaller it is, the less cost it is. So these are also the things that you have to think about before you cost your product, the packaging and the cost of the end product to the consumer. So this is a little bit of marketing as well as on your capital. Now, besides saving, the other people that you can approach would be friends and family. Now, with friends and family, know that you can lose your friends over money. Family, not so much. You're born into the family, you know, they would help you more so than your friends. So be very careful who you choose to get into business with, because you don't want to lose a friendship over business. Friends is harder to come by than business. That would be my advice. But my philosophy on life is you come with nothing and you shall go with nothing. If you do have a good idea that you truly believe in, see what you can give up to see that idea through. That's my belief. But not so much so that you would lose your friends and lose your family, lose the house that you're in. No, that's why you need to test your idea in increment. So now you have passed two major hurdles. You have an innovation. You have a better mousetrap. You get your product. You know your market size. You price your product. People want more. You have capital. You're well on your way. So you're well on your way to going places. But remember, you don't have a long runway. I say that because there will be other people who see what you're doing, want to copy you. It's a great compliment, I agree. But they might take over your business by selling it cheaper, doing it better than you. So you have to pick up some speed now to see how quickly can you get this product to where you want to be. Which brings to my last point of this talk, sharing of my journey, your exit strategy. I say this is because when you have a business, first, a successful business is one that don't lose money. Very important. And the simple accounting that I always use from the days when I'm with my parents in the shop, it's more in, less out. Then you have a business. So now that you have a business, you have to make sure you collect. I'm always surprised when people talk about sales figure. These are, of course, bigger companies, bigger companies where they talk about sales, how much billions and so forth and so on. They can sell their company based on the sales figure because of their market dominance. You're not there yet. Your business should be about money in the bank, money in your pocket, so that you can pay yourself, and have enough left over to make more to sell. Very important when people take your goods, there's a terms that they need to fulfill. Meaning, you give them the goods and you tell them that they have to pay you regardless in 10 days. So this speaks about distribution. But for the smaller shops, they may say to you, but I can't pay you 10 days, suppose you don't sell. And they will tell you that, well, when you sell, I pay you. Then your job is to make sure you visit those shops. And if your products is not on the shelf, you take it back. No, I mean, if your product is not on the shelf, you go to the proprietor and say, well, it's sold, I need the money. Because what you find is that people will take your goods, sell it, and use that money as their own capital, or just to pay themselves and their staff. Then declare bankruptcy. Then your money gone, So these are the things you have to always remember. So the first thing you do is make sure you have a good record of who you give the goods to, when they're supposed to pay you. And in some cases, you go there and say, well, you know, maybe my goods is not compatible with your location. I'm going to take it off the shelf from you so you don't have to keep it as an inventory. Sometimes you just have to do that because remember, goods has expiry dates. If they keep it for too long and don't sell it, it's as good as bad inventory. Money is gone. So the exit strategy is one that you have to give yourself enough time to say to yourself, when is this a bad idea? No. Let me not say bad idea. It's not really, the idea is not bad timing. Let's say it that way, bad timing. Because at some point, your money might run out. Then you may have to say to yourself, well, maybe I should go back to my day job and dream about another innovation. Or it's not that it's a bad innovation. It's just that you don't have enough capital because the marketing that you're supposed to do, which is social media, TV, print, all those take a lot of money. So now your exit strategy should find a company with similar product to yours, but yours is better, and ask them to buy it from you, buy your innovation from you, your secret sauce. And then you walk away from it. The minimum you should ask for is, all the money that you owe to your friends and family. And if they can give you back like a saving, and plus, so be great too. But suppose it's even better than that. Your innovation is so great that it can go further afield. Then you can ask either private investors to come in to create a bigger business plan, or you straight sell it to the bigger company and walk away. But sometimes what the private investor want to do is to bring your company up to speed and do an IPO, which is the initial public offer, so that you now have shares in the company and you can sell your shares at will based on the market price, and also can work for the company as well, which I think is actually the most ideal, because you get to stay in touch with your innovation, which is make you feel alive, which is how I feel, because you feel impactful, but it allows you time to create other innovation, and it allows you to share your benefit of your innovation with the people who have invested with you initially. So they can, once it's a public company, it's value based on how people see how well your company do. So other people can now, the initial investors, your friends and family, can now start selling their shares. I don't know if you remember this movie, Forrest Gump, when he said, oh, well, I don't really have to work so much anymore because somebody told me to buy Apple. And then now, now the Apple somehow generate me a lot of money. So I guess he's talking about when the company Apple went public and he sold his shares and he was able to live off that without having to work too hard. So that's all I have to really share. And let the fun begin. Enjoy your journey. Just don't fall off the cliff too soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yap. a very insightful and very noteworthy presentation. I'd like to invite Dr. Coore, Professor Coore. Let's try this again. I'm not without perseverance. So let's
And happy
hope we-
patent day all. I can come off now.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Yeah. Professor
Okay.
Coore?
Are you hearing me clearly?
I'm hearing you clearly now.
All right, so let's try this one more time.
Let's try this again.
So, good morning, afternoon, everyone, again. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the cardiac surgery simulator, its history, but I'm going to focus on, hold on. But I am going to focus on the process by which it was commercialized. So for those of you who don't know, the cardiac surgery simulator is a training tool for cardiac surgeons. It is to a cardiac surgeon what a flight simulator is to a pilot. The inventors were Paul Ramphal, who is a cardiac surgeon, and he was at University Hospital at the time, myself at UE, and Dr. Michael Craven at UTEC. It consists of a real pig's heart that's installed in a mock chest cavity. Fluid is allowed to flow in and around the heart, and that makes it look realistic. Balloons are inserted into the heart in a way that makes when the balloons are animated by a pneumatic pump to make the heart appear to beating. The entire thing is computer controlled, and of course, then there are some displays. There's a display, in fact, or two, but one is for the controller, one is seen by the surgeons. That makes it look like the vital signs of the patient are being currently displayed. So all of this gives a realistic setup of an open heart surgery scenario. And then the resident, the trainee, is then able to perform various kinds of operations, procedures really, that they're learning to do on the heart, and then the machine can respond appropriately, and that thereby train the resident with various training exercises in cardiac surgery. So what this did, just to summarize the impact of it, in a way, simulators were there before, but none were so realistic as this one. And this really, in a way, set the bar for what the new simulators should be like, or what people might expect from cardiac simulators. It inspired other hybrid animated tissue simulators. It has influenced the standards that are being set for cardiac surgery training. It, by virtue of having the influence it has in the US, excuse me, it has a potential to change the way that cardiac surgery training will be done worldwide. And it's the first patent that was exploited in UE. So I wanted to focus on the fact that the process of taking from idea to market really
Excuse me, Prof. Coore.
Around 3 stages. Yes.
Are you interested in sharing your slides with us though, or because I know you had a slideshow earlier on?
Are you not seeing the slides?
No, we're not seeing the slides. We're just.
I'm going through the slides as if you're seeing them.
Maybe that was a part of the. Please,
Okay.
if you.
Let's try this again. Oh boy. Excuse me. One of the issues that I have is that I have to remove the headset from my ears because I'm hearing myself speak, which means that if you want to ask me or interrupt something, I'm not sure if I'll be able to hear you. Anyway, let's try and proceed with as we can.
Or we can always questions to you in the chat.
Well, when I'm sharing now, I can't see the chat. All right, are you seeing my screen now?
We'll wait until the end.
We will wait till the end, but we're seeing your screen.
Okay,
we're hearing you perfect.
So, all right, so you are hearing me fine now, right? That audio problem is gone?
Yeah, it seems to be fixed.
Okay, I know you are seeing the screen, so I'm going to present as if you are all with me.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, so let me just jump straight to the introduction of the simulator. I did say what the simulator was, and here are some pictures that you were missing out as I was describing it. The image to the right is the picture of the heart in the mock chest cavity, and the fluid is enabled or pumped around it and in it, and that creates that realism of a heart undergoing open heart surgery. This diagram illustrates how the heart has to be specially prepared, and these are the balloons that are inserted into it, and it's air that goes into the balloons and comes out to make it look like it's beating. And then this is what the display looks like. I've changed the background because when I printed it, better contrast, but it's actually a black background with vital sign traces. And these are, of course, live. So you'll see a sweep, and these values change as the supposed patient is changing state during the operation. The important thing is that all this is computer controlled. And so there's this very realistic view and feel of what an open heart surgery operating room would feel like. And this is what enables the resident to get a sense of what it's going to be like in the real operating room. The important thing here, of course, is that it provides safety, right? So if you think about how cardiac surgeons get trained now, they work with pig's heart. They're stationary to get a little practice to learn a little bit of technique. But eventually, when they actually have to learn to manage a case, it's a real patient that they have to learn on. So you're talking about an element of safety that the simulator introduces that, is, to be honest and fair, there are surgeons who will debate whether that is an improvement, because they'll say, this is how I learned it and this is how I've done it for hundreds of years. So it's not you and I who are not cardiac surgeons might think that this is an obvious thing to do, and it's an obviously good thing. Not all surgeons would agree with you, but it is something that many surgeons have subscribed to, and it certainly has had an impact. So getting back to what I had mentioned before I realized you weren't seeing my slides. So it's a set the bar for cardiac surgery simulators. It's inspired other hybrid animated tissue simulators. It has influenced standards that are being set because others have now seen this simulator. And I'll tell a little bit of that story in a little while, but the focus, as I said before, is going to be on that process of how we went from idea to eventually to commercialization. But I did say that it has the potential to change the way cardiac surgery training is done, because it has had this influence in the US, and in the US, by extension, happens to have a very significant impact on how medicine is practiced in the rest of the world. And this is one of the things that you would like to talk about, because this was one of the first patents. This was the first patent that was exploited, not filed, but exploited at UB. So I wanted to mention that, as I said before, that it really proceeds. You can think along 3 stages that any of these kinds of projects that go from a lab that finally reach a market go through. So you have the research stage, there's a development stage, and then the commercialization itself. And so let me tell the story. I'll tell the story rather briefly, but with the picture that's pertinent at the time. So where this all started is that Dr. Amphal, as the cardiac surgeon, wanted ways to expose his residents to more opportunities to get practice. Our ICU is pretty small, and of course, not all cases in the ICU are going to be cardiac cases. And so there was an issue with how much exposure our residents were getting. There already is a practice where the residents would go abroad to go and finish up, but even what he really wanted to do was get them to have even more practice, to be more skillful by the time that they would go away. And so that was his motivation for building the simulator. And he basically did a complete mock-up. It was entirely mechanical to start with. And some of these components, so for example, I don't know if you can see my mouse pointer, but there are 2 big pumps here behind this cabinet. He basically built a mock-up that was made up of PVC pipes and pumps like this.
without the screen, without any automation. And that was just kind of proof of concept. And then he kind of hired the team to come in and try and, you know, make it automated, bring the computer in, and so on. And by the time we were finished with that process, which didn't happen in one fell swoop, by the way, it was several iterations before we finally got something that was usable and that he actually then used with his residents. It kind of looked sort of like this. It was a very sprawling system, had many tubes, many pumps, bench power supply, not something that was all well packaged and compact, not at all, something that was sprawled out in the lab. And what you're seeing here is what that looked like. Now, that went up to 2007. Nothing much was happening. This was all at UWI at the time. Nothing much was happening. Dr. Ramphal ended up leaving and, you know, went off into private practice, left Jamaica actually. And so the project sort of came to a natural end or pause. We thought it was an end, it was a hiatus really. But, you know, we had published an article and that was in the European Journal of Thoracic Surgery. It was then discovered by Dr. Richard Fines, who was at the time in late 2007, that's when he contacted us, but he was then the chairman of the American Board of Thoracic Surgery. And he was looking for a way to bring simulation into thoracic surgery training. And that was for us, well, for him at the time, he was looking at thoracic surgery as being slightly behind the other surgical disciplines, which seemed to all be pursuing the simulation route, especially the laparoscopic type of surgeries. Many of those tended to have simulators, rather simple ones. But when he came across our paper, and luckily for us, we had a video attached, and the video showed the heart beating and the, you know, procedure being done on the heart. That convinced him that this was something that he really wanted to see. So he basically sort of made arrangements. He was very persistent, and we managed to get all the ducks in a row, including protection for the intellectual property protected therein and so on. By this time, a patent had been filed for, but it hadn't been issued yet. But, you know, under an agreement, we were able to reconstruct the simulator in the States at the University of North Carolina, which is where Dr. Fines was based. And so, in a way, that still was part of that research stage. In fact, what you see here is the reconstructed version in University of North Carolina. But from there, things really took off. He, through his influence, was able to give it a lot of exposure. It got a lot of opportunities to be seen and used by residents and experts, you know, consultants in the States. It was invited to go to, you know, various technology symposia in cardiothoracic surgery. And so through that, it got a lot of visibility, and I got a lot of kudos as well. And from there came out to that an idea to replicate this and have 8 institutions participate in the study. And the study was really to see how cardiac surgery training could incorporate simulation as a matter of course. How could that be made to happen systematically and not just through symposia as it currently was being done. And so this simulator was going to play an important role, a central role to that experiment. And of course, that meant that the 8 participating sites would have to have one of these. Now, there's no way that what you see here is what we could send to those sites. And, you know, every time we went to set this up, Dr. Ramphal would both Dr. Ramphal and myself would have to travel, because Dr. Ramphal would set up about half of it and I would set up. So all the electronics is the part I would set up. All the mannequin and the heart itself and the tubes is a part that he would set up, and no one else could do it nor operate it. And of course, that's not the state that you want to be able to. You can't have it like that and then give it out to 8 centers for them to participate. So at that stage, we then started getting into the development of another model or an upgrade that we could send elsewhere, that we could sort of transport a little bit more conveniently, and we could give instructions on how to use and expect that people would actually get use out of it. And so in a way that then put us into the development stage. By the way, these categories of activity, you know, the research, the development, commercialization is in retrospect. This is not something that we appreciated was happening while it was happening. You know, when it's happening, you're sort of responding to the immediate needs. It's only looking back that I could sort of say, this is really where this transition occurred, and these are reasons. So as I feed it into the narrative, I want to appreciate that, I may tell you now that this is where this development stage really started, and because now we had to make 8 of them and we had to kind of systematize certain things. That technically is where the development stage started. When we were doing it, we didn't appreciate that that's really what was happening. But by 2011, we had started putting these units in, and over the course of that year, all 8 institutions had gotten one of these. You're seeing here on the right in this picture an instance of this simulator. So here, there's a monitor at the top. This is the control. These are the set of pumps and the pneumatic system, which is inside of a little case because it makes a lot of noise. So we put it in a case to dampen the sound. And then this is the controlling computer back here. Someone stands back here and responds to the instructions that the 2 surgeons. So one is the attending and one is the assistant, but both of them are in the scenario here. Both of them are actually residents, but one will be the one in charge that will be attending, and the other one is the assistant. The person standing back here in a normal operating room would in fact be the anesthetist or anesthesiologist. And there's another person in a real operating room called a perfusionist. Perfusionist is the person responsible for controlling the flows of blood into the heart and so on. What really is happening is that most times you will want to stop the heart in order to operate on it. Of course, if you stop the heart, you need to keep the patient alive. And so what happens is that the blood is pumped through a heart-lung machine, which will oxygenate it and pump it back to the body. And all the time, the heart itself is bypassed, okay? So there's a procedure for getting the body into that state and making that happen. It doesn't just happen, it's part of the process of the operation. And that's an example of something that this simulator can be used to train our residents on. But it's the perfusionist who controls the pumps in the real operating room. So in our system, the controller of the simulator is acting both as an anesthesiologist as well as the perfusionist. And all those commands are essentially executed by touching a key on the keyboard or clicking a widget on the interface. Anyway, all of this was happening and developed at UE at the time. By this time, Dr. Craven had sort of bowed out to the project. And so I took over the electronics. That's what his role was before. And so some of this, these are the circuits that we developed here on the left that are embedded inside of these devices. But notice that even here, these are not things that we necessarily take to market. I mean, we could share them with the 8 institutions. We sort of upfront told them, look, this is a beta test. I want to appreciate that we are ourselves trying to figure out, what the best way to do some of these things are. Some of these things will change. The software is constantly being updated. There will be some hardware upgrades from time to time. So part of that process for us was that this was a process by which we would improve the simulator. For them, when I say us, meaning me and the engineering team with me, but for the institutions that were getting one of these simulators and using it within their study, for them, what they were looking at is how can one bring simulation into cardiac surgery training? So it was a kind of quid pro quo arrangement in that regard. And so while we're doing this development, as I mentioned here, I'm doing that refinement, but really this is not something that we would take to market. For example, I have there are no safety standards that I've necessarily built this to. I don't have any, there's no things like, so electrical safety, there is mechanical safety, there are standards that might be required for interoperating with other equipment, especially if this is going to be sitting in a hospital somewhere. There are all kinds of various kinds of requirements that an actual product might need, at least to be considered anyway, in order to be a real product. And none of that is of real interest to somebody like myself who is trying to just build the proof of concept. And so really, what we really needed was a business, right? We needed a business to sort of take it to that next level. And in fact, that's eventually what happened. And this was done through a license agreement. So there was a company called Kind Heart, and they eventually were the licensees for the patent rights, and which eventually were issued in 2010. So they eventually became the licensee. And this is a picture of the model, 2 pictures here, just 2 different sides of it, that they eventually, so they've just coalesced all the machinery that I showed you before into this one huge box. And, it's a lot more well finished. There are a lot, just parts are standardized, and so, for example, if you have one of these and the consumables, you can order specific parts and so on, a proper support as you would for a product. And you can see from there that, at this stage, we had very little input into this. The handoff was really a discussion about how it works. And then they took it from there and sort of, repackaged, rebuilt, and revamped. So what you're seeing here is ultimately now what is being sold as the current cardiac surgery simulator. And by the way, a piece of good news, this company actually just this year, early this year, was now acquired by Intuitive. Intuitive is a very wealthy robotic surgery company. They're in fact one of the leading robotic surgery companies. And they in fact were one of Kind Heart's biggest customers, because they use, Kind Heart makes other simulators as well. I mentioned some simulators have been inspired by this one. They make a lung model that was directly inspired by this one. And the Intuitive used to hire, because now they own them, Kind Heart to provide setups in order to bring, professionals, whether they be residents or practicing surgeons, to come and learn how to use robotic systems. So, this is an interesting way that this ended up being exploited. We started off developing a teaching tool for use in hospitals. Where the money ended up being, and where it seems to currently be, is in something like robotic surgery, where it's a private company with the money and the need to sell their robots, but they want to make sure that people know how to use them, so they have to run training seminars. And what you train on, well, the alternative might have been a cadaver. In the States, a cadaver might cost $2,000 to $3,000 or more, depending on the season, depending on the times and what's going on. And a pig's heart may cost $200. So it's a huge difference in terms of the consumable just to do one of those demonstrations. Okay, so that's the story of the simulator. And in keeping with the theme of the day, I wanted to get to that process of commercialization, so that I don't, as I was trying to say, I don't know how much of it was heard earlier. One of the biggest problems that I see in Jamaica is that we tend to have a very vague idea of how value reaches innovation. So we imagine that once you get a patent, somehow money is just going to follow. And in fact, that's actually not something that happens directly. That is something that has to be done deliberately. So I've kind of commented on these retrospective observations, some of these already, but just to kind of recap. So, a couple of things. So research is different from development, right? That research stage in the first part, we're going through many iterations, and the thing that was driving us was actually kind of different. Where the money came from was also very different. So, different objectives and different activities, even though it's the same people, presumably apparently doing the same things. Because if you just looked at it as an outsider, you would just see me and Dr. Ramphal and Dr. Craven and our graduate students and residents and so on, just working on this thing. So at a very high level, you might just think, well, we're just working on it continually for that period of time. When in fact, there was a difference when we were sort of iterating over different possible ways of achieving functionality, to then getting into how do I scale up, how do I standardize, how do I systematically produce this so that I can replicate, which is more the development. Our patent had a number of hiccups in and of itself. A part of that had to do with the quality of the claims that had been drafted up in the first place. And maybe some of that may have had to do with the way that those, who was writing the claims, how they may have acquired them or collected them from the inventors, because we really didn't have very much of an interaction in developing those. We supplied them, of course, in the first place, meaning we supplied what we thought was the innovation and what what we believed was new about this. But then the actual process of writing it up, ended up encountering challenges. In the end, they were overcome, but it took a really long time. The initial, so we produced the first paper in this, and there's a bit of serendipity here, because the first paper that we wanted to publish was just to go to a conference, just talk about how this was done. And that was in 2002. We filed a provisional patent because that was available in the States. That gives you a year before then you have to go file the actual patent. And then that still protects your right for novelty. And that's a route that we followed. Now, I remember I mentioned the patent wasn't issued until 2010. So all along, it was kind of sitting in this kind of moving from one state of rejection, pending a challenge to another. Interestingly, the license negotiations took a long time. That really was a lot partly due to the fact that there really was very little experience at UWI with licensing, and B, sort of confusion over the actual value here. Yes, it was innovative. Yes, it was new and not seen before, and certainly highly impactful in terms of how much change it was going to induce. But that doesn't necessarily equate to high value. You kind of have to really look at the market. And I think, some of the people who were responsible for some of that, those negotiations, it took them a while to kind of appreciate that value that they might imagine. This is not going to be a Google, that where that money is and how much money was going to be involved is not necessarily equivalent to how important it was going to be. And there are also some interpersonal issues that ended up making that license negotiation take longer than it really should have. But thankfully, in the end, we were able to get there. And if you look at what were the things that contributed, really had a combination of creative and smart individuals, and we were able and willing to work in a cross-disciplinary way. So each of us was interested enough in the other areas to understand how that impacted what we had to do and how we could achieve that overall objective. We luckily were able to get funded, and really what drove us all along was that what we were working on was a real need. It wasn't somebody's pet project that was just a pie in the sky thing. It really was required. And so we felt like there's a fulfilling objective that drove us. And the need itself wasn't just local to us, it was global. So this is actually what enabled us to get to that next level of being seen, and for the project to then get that extra injection of capital to take it to that development stage. And of course, there's quite a lot of serendipity that was involved in this project, because, for example, we could have accidentally published that paper in 2002 and then learned later, oh, that we just gave up the rights to be able to patent it because of that. For example, we were accidentally discovered by the chairman of the American Board of Thoracic Surgery just at a point in time when we thought, well, this is all over and done with. There are many, many different points at which things could have gone an entirely different direction had some small detail not gone exactly the way it went. So that's the story of the simulator. What I want to do is just very briefly now, in maybe 3 minutes, take a sort of gentle step back from the specifics of the cardiac surgery simulator and its commercialization to a slightly more general perspective, just to share with those here who may be either inventors themselves or perhaps aspiring to invent something and see it to commercialization. And I think, as I was saying earlier, really, I don't think there's enough understanding of how this happens. So let me share with you my perspective on this. So really and truly, there are three roles or three type of, I'm going to say roles, not actors, because it is in fact possible that a single individual could take on multiple roles. But it's useful to keep these roles separate because there are relationships between these roles that ought to be distinguished. So for example, specifically there's an IP creator. That's the person who's actually making the IP, right? And in our context, that might be researchers if you're in a university. Then there's an entrepreneur or the developer. That's the person who's actually going to take that proof of concept to something that might be a product in the first place. And then there's an investor, and that's the person with a pot of cash. So the entrepreneur has time, the investor has money, and IP creator has ideas. And those three, as I said, roles, because you could have a single person playing multiple ones, but it's useful to keep them separate. There are interfaces between them. And those, I'm going to highlight the interfaces that matter for the process of commercialization in the classic sense of what we imagine what you should imagine when you hear about commercialization, which is really that your idea is making it to market and turning into a product that is, having an impact beyond just who you know. The first one is between IP creator and entrepreneur. Oops. And that's really the IP license. Yes, it's possible to sell your IP, but you should never really sell your IP. It's usually a bad idea. You usually want to license it, and it's that license that is the interface between the IP creator and the entrepreneur. It is what enables that developer or entrepreneur to exploit the idea and sort of explore its potential. But it's the permission to do that. The separate interface, of course, is between the investor and the entrepreneur. And usually that centers around equity. The investor is going to give the entrepreneur some money in exchange for equity in the activity. And this is actually the entirety of those relationships that are important. You'll notice that I haven't put one in between the IP creator and investor. That is not to say that IP creator and investor don't ever talk to each other, but in fact, that relationship is actually not really part of this commercialization process. If you think about the kinds of activities that surround that relationship, it usually involves things like philanthropy, sponsored research, or consulting. But none of those specifically are part of that chain of activities that lead to commercialization of an actual product. Now you might ask in this, where's the university? And importantly, notice that those roles I said were really individuals. I guess you could say IP creator sometimes is a lab, or maybe you might then regard that as a university. But the university as an entity is actually not here. It's not one of these roles. What it really is it's an environment. It might be the environment that IP creator is in which case you're talking about entrepreneurs or developers who are external to the university. And that's when that IP license becomes a contract between the university and this external entity. But you can also have, of course, as you would be I'm sure most of you are aware, many universities have activities that encourage their community members, whether they be students, staff, whoever, to try to be entrepreneurs, or when they have these ideas to encourage them. So in fact, that ecosystem may involve both. And then those IP licenses tend to look a little different. They tend to be kind of internal type of licenses, but they still exist and they're still there to protect the exploitation of the intellectual property. Well, it's to protect intellectual property itself, but how it gets exploited and the rights that are in there. And so if you keep this model in mind, I think when you next are thinking about how you're going to go, how it happens, especially if you're in a university environment, I hope this will help you. Just to kind of elaborate on this a little bit, I just to underscore a very important point here. We often think that when you have this idea, that it's suddenly because if the idea has potential, that suddenly is worth something. In fact, it's actually not. You could have the greatest idea in the world, document it, and go get your patent, and it's protected, and it's still worth $0. In fact, it's worth -$, because you spent money to get the patent. The only time it actually realizes value is when you can convince somebody that it's worth developing. At that point, you just sort of, and not just convince them, but they need to put up where they believe. In other words, that they're willing to sign a license agreement and take it somewhere. That is when it receives value. And at that point, that value is just sort of based on what they may have paid to get those rights. And many licenses will often have 4 components in terms of the monetary component of monetary value. There's an upfront signing fee, maintenance fees, royalties, and equity. But you can also have non-monetary terms. As an example, in the case of our simulator, once we realized and appreciated, once I could convince the powers that be that the money wasn't necessarily going to be as huge as you might have dreamt. For example, our principal then appreciated that. He decided to very quickly back of the envelope calculation based on number of teaching hospitals around, number of cardiac surgeons roughly, and how many would need to get trained and how many machines would be in demand, and sort of appreciated that this was not going to be a multi-million-dollar per year kind of industry, rather maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars rather than multi-millions. And immediately what he then said is, okay, that's not a problem. So that changes how we might negotiate this. But I want that anytime one of these machines goes into one of these hospitals, there's a sticker on it that says, this is technology from the University of the West Indies. And we have written that into the license agreement. So every one of those commercial units that's sold has one of those stickers for anybody who's seeing the machine to see it. So visibility in that case was something that was meaningful to us. There's no necessarily specific monetary value to that, but certainly value from our perspective. Getting back to this model here, notice that the proof of concept gets value at the time of signing, and with investment and time. So that's the developer really, and who usually is an entrepreneur, turns that into a product. Usually this kind of what we call a minimum viable product. And this is where they first go to market. At that point, you can now put a value on this based on things like, how much market share you're getting, what your total revenues are, what your expenses are, etc. And it may not be more than what they signed for. Many products take a while to gain value. And so that value, though, is something that you can readily quantify. Now, if you carry on a while, you then can approach the next stage of investment, which is often scale up. This part is really more for the entrepreneur and investor to really worry about. At this stage, it's left that idea, that patent stage, quite a ways back. But if, for example, the license agreement had an equity stake in it, then the returns continue to come back to the IP creator or whoever the patent owner might be, or the licensor. And that can sometimes, redound in great ways, because as you imagine, what this investment the scale up investment is doing is growing the value of this. And at that point, if you own a particular share, then your share is improving in value. And so I hope that these 2 slides kind of give a sense of, in general, how value reaches intellectual property. I think it's something that when I speak to people, my colleagues, well, not just my colleagues, but just generally, I think there's a lot of vagueness about how that happens. And these are not accidents. If you are the inventor, you do need to find licensees. If you are the entrepreneur, you do need to go find the money, and you do need to situate yourself well so that your product is going to be successful in the market. This is not something you just do and magically, because a great idea, money comes. So finally, I hope that you can, if you got nothing else, you take away the following. Really, there are 3 distinct roles. You have the IP creator, entrepreneur, developer, and the investor. The process really involves 3 stages, which I'll call research, development, and commercialization. They're separate in theory, but very often practically they'll overlap. You always need funding for all stages, and comes in different shapes and motivations. Remember that if you have IP and you haven't licensed it or exploited it, as great as idea might be, it's really worth $0. And if you are interested in creating a startup, yes, you have to focus on getting that minimum viable product out and your company stable. but never ever forget that you always want to keep the scale up in mind. You want to be able to think about what happens if you are approached by an investor who really sees what you're doing, likes what you're getting into, and wants to help you grow that pie, get you to a bigger market. You know, it's good for you to be able to have that conversation. So it's good for you to have a good understanding of what your value is and where you want to go and what you need to get there. That's how those conversations go. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to field any questions and comments.
Thank you, Professor Coore. There's one question in the chat where somebody asked, were you able to use the Madrid protocol to register your IP? So I think they mean the Patent Cooperation Treaty, the PCT. So he's asking if you were able to use the PCT in the registration.
No, I don't think, I think this was done directly in the US. So it was just one market.
Okay. Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you very much, Professor Coore. That was a very interesting presentation. As I said, it was fascinating to learn the practical aspect of patents. And as you rightfully said, a patent doesn't guarantee the money, right? I'm trying. Okay, so it says, how soon will SMEs be able to benefit from the PCT? Okay, so we're currently in negotiation.
So we're in the process of amending the laws to enable us joining Madrid and the Patent Cooperation Treaty.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Bellamy. That, yes.
So Dr. Moore, it's Dr. Coore. Just for the record.
That's, I'm sorry about that.
That's not your fault.
So it has been a real interesting day. Thank you very much. I'm so happy that we were able to work through the difficulties because everybody needed to hear your presentation. I'd like to thank all our speakers, Dr. Kerr, Professor Byarugaba, Bazirake, Dr. Patricia Yap, and Professor Daniel Coore. Your presentations went over very well and they were very insightful, and I think we all need to hear them. I'd like to thank Ms. Bellamy for staying there the entire day. I know her day is very busy. Thank you, Ms. Bellamy, for staying with us. I'd like to also thank the IP Week Committee for their hard work into putting forward this presentation. And I'd like to thank all the participants who stayed with us the entire day. I'm sure it was a very enriching experience, and I was enriched. No matter how many times I hear it, I'm always enthusiastic to hear the experience of our patentees. Thank you very much. Please fill out our event poll that's up on the screens right now so that we can get some feedback and we can better assist you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for your attention. And I note the compliments. Thank you very much for them.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Professor Bazirake, you wanted to say something? Any closing remarks? Oh, okay. Thank you again, folks. And I wish you a great day, and please enjoy the rest of our Intellectual Property Week. Tomorrow is Enforcement Day. Please take part, and we will continue to spread the word so that we can make a better nation from our intellectual property. Thank you.
Morning.
Hi, good morning, how are you?
I am good, and you?
I am doing okay.
Awesome.
I'm here to copyright a trademark for my patent.
You want to copyright a trademark for your patent?
Yes.
All right, tell me exactly what it is that you want to do.
I have a logo and I want to get it registered.
Okay, so that's a copyright, not patent. That's actually a trademark. So logos are trademark.
Oh, so you're telling me that all I need is just a trademark?
Yes, that's all you need.
You know, it's a little confusing. I would hope that you guys would have some form of workshop or webinar or something.
Yes,
just to inform us of what is happening.
It is, and I'm happy that you said that because we will be having our IP week this week, our annual IP week, starting the 23rd of April until the 2nd of May. We will be on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, I believe Twitter as well. So you can just go over there and just follow us, and you can always see the live events that are going to be on.
And what's the date again?
The 23rd of April until the 2nd of May.
Oh, thank you. I will surely be there.
You are most welcome. Please do go ahead and follow us, all right?
Okay, I will.
All right, let me just see your documents, please. All right, you just have a seat over there, and I'll get someone to assist you.
Okay.